What's up, guys? We are in Chiang Mai, Thailand, near the Ping River. This is Chiang Mai's Chinatown. It's a very interesting neighborhood. In my opinion, it is the most interesting neighborhood in Chiang Mai. We're gonna wander around, check out the market, check out some of the streets, have a walk along the Ping River, and we're gonna discuss today, in my opinion, why I think it is in your benefit to leave the West and to come to a developing country. The opportunities that exist in the developing world are far more than most people would imagine. And I think if you're finding my channel, that means you're starting to think outside of the box. So we're gonna talk today about some of the advantages that you have coming from a rich, developed country and coming to a developing market like here in Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, some of the Balkans countries in Europe, and other popular destinations that are emerging. And why are they emerging, and what is drawing people to these developing markets? So we'll have a little bit of a stroll, we'll take in some of Chiang Mai, and hopefully we'll have an interesting chat. What's up, guys? So we are walking along the Ping River. We're in Chinatown. We're gonna go down, walk along the river for a bit, and then we're gonna go more into the heart of Chinatown with you guys, show you the market. It's about sunset now. The weather is incredible. It's dry season. We're coming into, unfortunately, the part of the year where Chiang Mai gets pretty bad air quality, but the weather and the air quality hasn't gotten so bad yet to where it's still really nice to be here, really pleasant.
Yeah, it's not too polluted right now.
And right now, people in New York are like freezing. People in Europe are freezing, and like here it's like, I don't know, Fahrenheit, maybe 70 or something like that.
No,
75.
I think it's 80, right?
Is it like, it could be like 80.
Yeah, I think it's 80.
Sadi cup, my cup, cup home. Cup. So let's head down. Let's go walk along the Ping.
Yeah, let's check it out.
So yeah, guys, anyways, yeah, the tuk-tuk guys over here are always looking to make a buck, but this is kind of a hub. Tourists come down here to film Chinatown. They come down here to film the river, you know, take photos and selfies on the bridge, this type of thing. And
hang out. It's a really nice place to hang out, actually.
It's a really
Very
cool.
peaceful. There's a lot of restaurants. I don't know if you guys can see on the other side. There's heaps of like restaurants and cafes.
This whole thing is just restaurants and cafes right along the Ping, and you've got some hotels and condos along the Ping. It's a nice place. This is the river that runs through the heart of Chiang Mai, and it smells like fucking piss, I'll tell you that. It smells like motherfuckers be pissing down here.
Yeah, and fish.
For sure, fishing and pissing.
Oh, look at the birds.
Oh, there's some cute little birds. So I don't think the GoPro's gonna get them though.
Yeah, they're too small.
Yeah, but look at this, guys.
Yeah, it does smell like piss, guys.
Yeah, it smells like piss, but it's still very cool, and I like it, and it's a pleasant place to come for a little bit of a stroll.
I'm sure that side smells better.
Yeah, that side's probably better. They got, at least they're cooking food over there.
Yeah, look, they have like little tiki lamps and shit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
You guys can see. Yeah, this side is backs up to Chinatown and to the market, so we thought we'd come have a stroll and discuss a little bit about living over here. Some of the big advantages for us were that really just the access to opportunity that we didn't have when we were in the States. We were doing like working class jobs, working class people with sort of working class mentalities, and our expectations were, you know, they were what they were based on kind of what we knew about the world. And the more we've been outside of the States, I feel like it's broadened our horizons, and we've just realized that there's so many different ways to look at life, and there's so many different ways to look at money making and like
how to live. Like, you don't really, you know, you don't have to have that 9 to 5 to survive, basically. That's what we figured out.
No, you don't. And you know, there's a lot of parts of the world where you having a strong passport, you know, you have a lot of advantages that you might not even be aware of in terms of employment, business opportunities, just, you know, the access that it will get you in these places. Like, for example, guys, you know, all the years we lived in Vietnam, you know, at different times I was teaching English to doctors, to people who are connected in the government, to people who are, you know, our architects, and you just get this access to a segment of the society that in your country you may not have as easy access to. So basically, if you're smart and you know how to move around, you can move around circles with money here much easier than you can in the West.
Right.
Whereas, you know, the barrier to wealth in the West is so much more extreme. Here, you know, as long as you don't show up totally broke backpacker, you know, like you kind of have an instant access to the upper middle class and potentially the upper class, depending on how you know, carry yourself. I think that in terms of like value, what you get for your money, I don't think you can even make a comparison. And we always talk about this. We always think it's kind of crazy how you have all these people in the US, and many of them own homes, many of them have dollars,
Yeah,
but they're working.
USD.
Yeah, they have USD, but they're working so hard and their lives are so unpleasant and they're just not getting quality of life.
Like daily, I'm talking about, you know, like their daily life.
They have insane tax burdens, they have high rent, they have high fuel costs, they have to drive everywhere depending where they're from. I mean, you know, that, or if they don't have to drive, they're at the mercy of very expensive public transportation systems and
Or just terrible.
yeah, or
transportation systems.
inefficient ones
Yes,
that
yeah,
don't
yeah.
work. And you know, that's the thing. It's a lot more access here because the threshold is a lot lower. So for example, if you were in a place like the States, you know, like you want to rent an apartment, you want to get yourself started, you know, it could cost in New York, I mean, you could piss through fucking thousands of dollars before you ever start making money. You can come out to a place like Chiang Mai and for a couple grand have yourself completely fixed up with apartment, you know, food, you know, like anything you need.
Yeah.
You know, so your runway to whatever you're trying to do, whatever business you're trying to start, it's way, way longer here.
Yeah.
It's, you
And
know.
also, guys, there's cheaper places than Chiang Mai.
There is. Chiang Mai has gotten a bit more expensive if you compare it to other parts of Southeast Asia. Because Chiang Mai's gotten discovered. It's like very, very gentrified now. You're late to the party, but it's still very cool, and I still like it. And if you're coming from a place like the States, I mean, you're gonna find it to be a bargain. I mean, there's just, you know, like you can rent apartments here for like $300 a month that are like reasonable luxury apartments. You know, if you sign a lease for, you know, 12 months, you can get them for like $300, $350, you know, places with pools, views. I mean, there's just, you're not gonna ever get that quality of life in the West. You know, even in the cheapest states in the US or, you know, some of the cheapest places in whatever countries, Australia, New Zealand, no matter where you go, there's nothing is gonna come compared to the cost of living that you're gonna find here in Southeast Asia. Now, it doesn't mean that Southeast Asia is totally cheap either. Like places in Southeast Asia can still be kind of expensive. Saigon, for example, is not such a cheap city. Phnom Penh is cheap if you know how to do it, but it can also be quite expensive. And it's the same with Bangkok, you know. And little Chiang Mai is still a pretty good bargain, but it's definitely not as cheap as it once was.
Hey guys, so the overall cost of living here is going to be a lot less than like US, Australia, New Zealand, Europe.
Guys, I gotta tell you, when it comes to medical care, you know, I've had some issues living in Saigon, and Saigon is not the healthiest environment, I'll tell you that. But the healthcare I got was very good, life-saving. They really, really got me back on my feet. They got me off blood thinners. I mean, I got crazy sick out here.
And he was in the hospital for 7 days, I think. It was 7 or 8 days. We are not in debt because of that. Like if that happened in US, we would be crushed. You
Oh
know?
yeah, forget it.
Like absolutely crushed by that.
Forget it.
8 days in the hospital, I don't even know how much that costs.
I mean,
over there.
right now, like even in our family, you know, older people we know are having crazy expenses to try to just survive. Even
medical
like
expenses,
yeah, like crazy expenses. And I know that's a uniquely American thing because the American healthcare system is so predatory, but
Right.
at the same time, like, you know, even in other developed countries, like you still have medical costs, you know, like I know the Canadians pay for some things. I know, you know, if you want to have care quickly, you know, I know they have like their social safety nets, but they don't necessarily get you in quick. Whereas here, you could be in and out of the hospital as you need to be, even for minor procedures, and it's not going to break the bank. And the quality of the care in Thailand is exceptional.
Yeah, people come here all the time for medical stuff, you know, to get their wisdom teeth pulled, to, I don't even know, for eyeglasses, you know, they do it all the time. It's very popular. Plastic surgery as well.
And the cost of living is just so much less. So like, you know, even if you wanted to just come out here and, you know, think about what you want to do for your future for a while, you can just put yourself in a place in Chiang Mai, inexpensive, decent apartment, get yourself an education visa to start out and figure out if you really want to stay out here.
Yeah.
Now, if you really need to make money, you can always teach English. And, you know, most of the time companies will find a way to sort out your visa. There's options for people who have more dough, like elite visas and things like that. And you know, you're putting yourself in a good base to go and have a look around Asia. So I think Chiang Mai is like one of the best places for a first timer coming to Asia.
It's very easy.
It's really easy.
Everything is like pretty much set up for you. 9 times out of 10, it's going to work out here in Thailand in general. Chiang Mai or Bangkok or Phuket, anywhere here. 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to work out.
And what she means by that is like everywhere else in Southeast Asia, like
it can be a bit janky.
It's not going to work out most of the time. Well, it will kind of, but
it'll work out, but you're not going to have a nice time.
No,
you know what I mean?
You're going to go on a fucking adventure. And you know, the difference in Thailand is things sort of work better. There definitely infrastructure is a lot better.
There's a huge network of people here who can help you as well.
Sure.
There's a giant expat community here.
If you're an entrepreneur, I could think of far worse places to be than Chiang Mai. You are surrounded by some of the most innovative people who are doing really, really cool stuff. We're gonna go venture into Chinatown now. So the sun is starting to go down, it's not so hot.
Yes.
But yeah, you have access here. You have access to a lot of people who are doing stuff online. You know, you do have a bit of an education industry, even though I wouldn't say that Chiang Mai or that Thailand in general is necessarily the best place to teach English. For my customers who want to do ESL and who need to make money when they first get started out here, I always kind of direct them more towards Vietnam because, you know, Vietnam, the bureaucratic process is fucked up, but it can be sorted out a lot easier than in Thailand and for less money oftentimes. You know, it's a good place because the salaries are higher than in Thailand. You know, a lot of foreigners want to be in Thailand, so it kind of saturates the market. Whereas, you know, Vietnam is a little bit less comfortable, a little bit more developing. So they'll pay a little bit more, they'll treat you a little bit better. But I think Chiang Mai and Thailand in general really is just a really, really good spot to be if you're an entrepreneur or if you have online income or you have another means of income. Like if you're living right now in the US and you're paying, I don't know, $3,000 a month for a place in New York, I mean, you could really cut your costs down by like almost 90% by coming out here.
Yeah, so I think the highest cost that you guys pay is rent, right? That's going to be the most.
I would think rent and healthcare if they're from the States.
Any kind of insurance, like house insurance, car insurance, life insurance, stuff like that, right? And then I would say probably utilities. Those are going to be the biggest bill cuts when you move here.
Oh yeah,
right?
The cost of utilities. If you guys are in Europe and you're freezing and you're going through all this drama with the fuel crisis, there really isn't much of a fuel crisis here.
Yeah, we got our utility bill the other day. What was it? It was like $13.
$14 for the month for 2 people.
Yeah, it was so cheap.
I mean, it is very, very cheap.
I couldn't believe it. I thought it was wrong, you know? I thought for sure it was wrong because Vietnam it was more.
We were in Eastern Europe, like before we came back to Asia, and this is before the peak of the fuel crisis.
Yeah.
And the fuel was going up. Our heating bills and our electricity bills really did substantially increase.
This was like last year, January, February.
So I can't even imagine what it's costing people now.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the point, guys. Like, you know, you whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're coming out to teach English, you're just gonna get much more quality of life here than you would in the West.
Like basically, instead of spending 70% of your income on housing, you could spend a lot less, like 50, 40, 30%.
You could easily,
on your renting.
You could,
know?
I don't know exactly what percentage, but it's going to be astronomical.
It's not going to be 70 though.
It's going to be astronomical.
Yeah.
If you're coming from a big city in the West, like Sydney or New York or London or somewhere in Europe, that's somewhere in France perhaps, these expensive Western countries, you're going to come out here, you're going to be shocked at what things cost.
And you can have your own place. You don't have to share here,
And that's becoming less common in the West. More and more people are having to share. More and more people are having to rent rooms rather than you actually have accommodation of their own.
The rent there is just absolutely crazy. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, I don't really know either, to be honest. And I talk to family members, and some of them, to me, I feel like it's like a disease of the mind, They have far more resources than we do, yet they do not get the same quality of life that we're getting. We don't make nearly as much money as they make, but yet somehow we're really getting a much higher standard of living than they are, And it is pretty wild, you know? Like, I mean, you think about it today, we just had lunch, and for 2 people, we're completely stuffed on healthy, nutritious food for about $10, $12 for 2 people. And we had about 4 or 5 different dishes. I mean, what an interesting fucking little alleyway we found here. Look at this, guys.
Oh, wow. This is a hotel.
Yeah.
Charlie Hotel.
Okay, we're in some hotel. All right.
Interesting.
Maybe let's go back towards the market.
Yeah.
So another way that Asia offers opportunity that you just don't have in the West is people are much more business minded here. You know, they're much more,
how do you call it? Entrepreneurial.
much more entrepreneurial, as you can see from all the little stalls in the markets and outside of people's houses. And, you know, if you're coming from a Western country, you may not be so familiar with it, but everybody's house here, for the most part, functions as a house and a business.
Yeah, like I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like most families here probably have their own business.
Most
families.
For sure, not all.
I mean, yes, there is still people working at the local store or whatever, Starbucks or whatever, but I still think that person's family probably has their own business. You know what I mean?
Somewhere, yeah, maybe in their hometown or somewhere. Yeah. But for sure, and
like I feel like those kind of jobs are temporary.
And you know, the people are keen, if you have a good idea, to experiment and to, you know, potentially, you know, give you opportunities that you may not have where you're coming from. Like for example, guys, I can't stress enough how me and Mish came from doing pretty much nothing to being able to run our own company, live remotely, and have like a really reasonable standard of living. We're far from rich, but we've been able to put something together for ourselves. And, you know, we're nobody really particularly special. You know, we're good with networking, and we're hardworking, and we put together the right relationships, and, you know, we resonate with people. So we've been able to be successful here. Whereas when I was in the States, I didn't even have the frame of mind. Like, I wasn't even thinking like this. I didn't, you know, that's why when you look at my trajectory on our original YouTube channel to where we are today, you know, it's quite crazy how we grew.
Yeah, I think because in the States, the threshold to open a business is so high that people don't even think about it. They're just discouraged. They just say like, oh, I could never afford to open my own business, or there's too many regulations and I have no idea about the rules or something like that. But I gotta tell you, here, especially working with the kids in Vietnam, like when I was teaching, we had some interviews for the kids' tests or whatever at the end of the year. And one of the questions was like, what do you want to do when you grow up, or what do you want to be? And they're like, oh, teacher, I want to have my own business. Like most of the kids would say that, oh, I'm going to have my own business, or oh, I'm going to take over my mom or dad's business, stuff like that, where you rarely hear that in America anymore.
Yeah, because a lot of the states, and not all the states, but a lot of the states stifle small businesses. A lot of the money and the support from the federal government goes to big corporations, and I can only speak for my country, but I imagine it's the same in all the other, you know, pretty much rich Western countries for sure, and all the English-speaking ones. You know, whereas the governments in these countries, you as a foreigner, you don't have as equal access to the market in all these countries. Like Thailand, for example, this is not the easiest country to run a business. But Vietnam, if you have a little bit of capital, you can put the business 100% in your name. Cambodia, you can put the business 100% in your name. And very often, people will come out and they'll just rent a house and just start like selling something or turn it into a bar. And you know, for a pretty long time, you can just keep giving the cops money and they'll just keep leaving.
And it's great because you just have one payment for rent, you know?
Yeah, your house.
It's not like you're paying your house rent and your business rent, which I think a lot of people do that in America because of the zoning laws, right?
Yes. Now here in Thailand, you need to have the Thai partner, or you need to be married to someone who's Thai.
Or it has to be like a specific business, right?
But there's ways.
Treaty.
Well, there is some things with the Amnesty Treaty where U.S. citizens can own certain types of industries here, but it's not really something that's going to be accessible to the average person. The way that we would help somebody who wanted to do something out here is having legal entities act as your partner. Basically sign paperwork that says that they have no rights to the business, and you basically pay a company to be your Thai partner. So that's one way that we can help you do things here. But Vietnam, Cambodia, you can 100% have your name on the business. So, I mean, there's a lot of advantages, to a place where even though the rules and the laws can be kind of crazy, like a little bit of money can usually solve most problems. Whereas in the West, like the rules can be bureaucratic, crazy, and a little bit of money doesn't solve shit.
Yeah, you need a lot of money to start over there.
You do, and
you need a lot of money if something goes wrong as well.
You need insurances and things like that. And that's one of the things, guys, that I think you'll find with Southeast Asia is that there's a lot of rules, but a little bit of money, goes a long way.
Especially USD,
and it's not
pound,
Exactly, and it's not as much money as you might think. We're gonna go wander into this market now. It's been a while since I've been over here, but
there's like a bunch of yellow buses over here. You notice that?
Yeah, there are.
Usually you don't see them.
Well, this is like the bus terminal here, kind of. This is the end of the line.
Close by.
Right here on the ping is the bus terminal. This is that bridge you were just standing on. That's where all the buses end up. Yeah. Okay. So this is.
Look at all the hats.
Check it out, guys.
So for them, it's cold now.
Yeah, it's cold now. So people are starting to wear hats and ski masks, I guess, even though it's still like, I don't know. I thought it was like 70, but I don't know Fahrenheit so well anymore. I think
me neither. I think it's like 80, like 75, 80.
75, 80. It was 25 the other day Celsius. So whatever that means to you in Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But like, as you guys can see, this is definitely Chiang Mai's most interesting neighborhood. I think the Chinatown has so much character. And this is one of the only times when I'm in Chiang Mai where I really feel like I'm back in Asia. Because a lot of Chiang Mai has become very set up for the tourists.
Yeah.
And now this looks like it could easily just be in Saigon or
Christmas socks. So cute.
Somewhere else in Southeast Asia like Cambodia. And
is this the oldest neighborhood in Chiang Mai?
I don't know, but I think the oldest neighborhood is where all those temples are in that old suburban area, kind of.
Right.
Or possibly around the old city.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But this is definitely, in my opinion, one of the most interesting parts of Chiang Mai. So, I would say one thing to bear in mind, guys, too, is that when you first come to Southeast Asia, it's very easy to like romanticize the place and to think how things are so great because, you're seeing a lot of things that are different and you might see some things that you like a lot. But it's also important to remember that all these places have lots of problems also. Probably in some cases far worse than where you're coming from. But the difference is you're a foreigner and you have foreign income and you have dollars or euros or whatever your currency of choice is, from your country, you have currency, that is of high value here. And it's always important to remember that the lives of local people is not necessarily the same as the life you're gonna have. So when people say things like, oh, well, why would you go to Vietnam? Like they say, oh, I met Vietnamese people who love to be in America. And it's like, well, yeah, but I'm not gonna live the way that a Vietnamese person or that a Thai person or that a person in Cambodia is gonna live. I have a different access because I'm from the US.
Right.
And I have a different access because of the currency I have. So don't forget that. And it's important to remember, to put things in context. Just because it's crazy cheap for you doesn't mean it's crazy cheap for local people. So it's also good to not be a douche, But yeah, your money goes far and you have options. And you have a lot more options than you think you have. And that's one of the things that's so interesting about these countries, is you just never know what you're gonna find. Let me give you guys a couple examples, right? We came into Chiang Mai within not even a week or two. We met with some really, really well-connected consultancies. We made a bunch of content together. We linked up with an SEO meetup that some of the top SEO people in the world are here in Chiang Mai, and we've been meeting and hanging out with them every week and learning more and more about how to improve our business and improve our reach. And that's all just from coming here. I've started doing Muay Thai again. My striking's getting really good. My cardio's good. We're both in really good shape. We're working out 3-4 times a week, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. If you're living in the West and you have an online income and you're paying a fortune to live, you're just doing it wrong, if you say you have a house and that house is worth like $300,000-$400,000 wherever you're from in the States or in Canada or wherever, right? say 400,000 USD, right? If you took that kind of money and you came to Southeast Asia,
You can have a mansion.
you could have, not only could you own a dope condo, but you can own condos in Thailand, and you can definitely own real estate in other parts of Southeast Asia. Usually it's condos, or it's like a house with like a local partner, like I talked about earlier. Like, for example, you might have like a lawyer act as your local partner. So people do buy houses and things that way as well. But you would have enough to buy yourself a sick condo and still easily have 200 grand left over to set up a couple different businesses, or, you know, figure out what you want to do, right? And if you have online income, fuck, even better. You know, I think that's the thing people don't realize. Now, would you want to spend the rest of your life in these countries? I guess that's up to you. I mean, the problem with Southeast Asia is that they never let you naturalize in most cases. Although there is some changes coming in Laos and Cambodia around residency programs, they're still very unclear at this time. But you're never a local, you're never going to be a local, and you're never really going to have full rights in the society or be accepted fully in the society, even if you learn the language. Whereas other destinations like in Eastern Europe or in, you know, Latin America, you can eventually learn the language and eventually become part of the society to some extent, right? You can get you can naturalize, you can get a passport at some point. Here, that's not likely to happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, it doesn't mean that you can't still be out here your whole life. You know, you can own condos, you can get elite visas in Thailand. You know, in Vietnam right now, it's the best way to stay in the country is to open a company. There isn't really a clear way to stay in Vietnam for a very, very long time. As far as Cambodia, you know,
Not right now, anyway.
Yeah, there was before the pandemic, people were just doing these kind of year business visas, and now that's a lot more shady and difficult and dangerous. So, you know, if you are going to do any kind of business visa, contact us, because we actually have contacts with real companies that can sponsor you, and it's a lot safer for you and less risky than it would be if you were to try to just find some random agent online who might be setting you up with like a shell company that could get you into legal trouble. You know, so, you know, Vietnam, these countries, Cambodia, they're messy, and if you're used to doing business in a certain way, like if you're used to things working the way they work in like the US or in Canada, you're gonna have a really hard time adapting. You know, we see that a lot with some expats, especially in the Facebook groups. There's these fucking people who come to these countries and then they still think that they're living in like the US or Canada or Australia.
New Zealand.
Yeah, and like it's amazing. Like I've actually seen people who have been out here for fucking years and they still say things like, oh, you better follow the rules and da da da, and you need to have a degree to teach English and da 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 da. And it's like, man, you guys have no clue about how the society actually operates. Look how beautiful this is, huh?
Yeah, it's gonna be Chinese New Year soon.
Yes, Chinese New Year or Tet. And we are in Chiang Mai's Chinatown.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, really nice. Oh, I love this time of the year, you know? It's Christmas for us guys, so, you know, for us, we don't feel super Christmassy. So Tet or Chinese New Year often fills the gap for us since we lived in Vietnam for so long. So another thing that's a huge advantage to Southeast Asia guys is if you need any kind of medications or healthcare products, oftentimes you don't need to necessarily see a doctor, right? So if I want to buy antibiotics or something, I can come to any pharmacy in Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, and I can just ask for the specific antibiotics I want. I don't have to pay a doctor. And the cost of generic drugs are extremely cheap here. If you're used to paying high prices for medications in places like the US, you're going to be very shocked at how inexpensive drugs are in this part of the world. Healthcare also very, very inexpensive. Food costs very, very inexpensive. Doing business is complicated. It can be somewhat expensive depending on what country you decide on. Thailand being the most expensive, probably Vietnam being a second. You know, if you start talking about your Singapores and places like that, that's a completely different level. I wouldn't really even include it necessarily because Singapore is pretty much a developed country, whereas these places are still very much developing. And in my opinion, in there lies a lot of opportunity. Like we've spoke about a little bit earlier, it's much easier to do business here. It's much easier to get things done with a little bit of money. There's much less barriers to things that you might want to do. there's much more access to people within the society that have wealth, and there's much more access to foreigners that are out here doing things that are entrepreneurial. And now that's not just here in Thailand, but that's all of Southeast Asia, although Chiang Mai is very special in that regard. Guys, I love Chinatown. Definitely one of the most interesting places in Chiang Mai. You can just see so much activity, life. There's some actually really cool temples over here. There's a lot of action any time of the day. Very, very cool spot. We're actually gonna go do a little shopping ourselves right now. We gotta get a little bit of stuff for the house, some cosmetics and stuff like that.
Some toiletries.
And we're right across the street from the giant market here in Chinatown, which we're gonna go take a walk through after. But first, we're gonna take you guys inside this little kind of cosmetics
It's nowhere
shop.
near as crowded as it used to be, guys.
Oh yeah.
This place, you couldn't even get inside. It was so crowded before.
Yeah, it's hectic, but you get really good prices on stuff. And we'll show you guys a little bit about what some of the average costs are here in Chiang Mai for this type of stuff, just to give you guys an idea. All right, Mish, you lead the way. What do we need?
Razors.
We need a razor, okay. All right, guys. So take
It
a
looks
look.
like nicer than last time too.
This is like any conceivable cosmetic you would ever need.
Yeah.
This is the thing with Southeast Asia, and especially Thailand, is you can find almost anything. The place is nuts. Look,
Yeah.
it's 2 stories of like every conceivable cosmetic you would ever need.
Here's some, but those are the cheap ones.
All right, so we have some big knockoffs, it looks like.
Where's the one
It's about $2.50 for those.
Here.
And what are we gonna get? We're gonna get the real ones?
Or if
Oh,
you
yeah.
see the one you like.
No, the real ones are closer to the real prices. Let's see if they have a knockoff that'll work. What's up, guys? So this is one of Chiang Mai's largest markets. There's a lot of jewelry, food. I haven't been here in a couple years, so let's see how much it's changed. It does seem quiet. Today is a weekday, middle of the week coming
it's
up.
like a Thursday.
This is going to be Christmas week this week. Wow, yeah, look, a lot of it's closed.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy.
So there used to be all kinds of food and stuff down here, which it looks like there still is. But upstairs used to be all clothing and like suitcases. I don't know if it's just closed today or if it's closed in general. We might need to get a couple things while we're down here.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yeah. I think some of the dried fruits and stuff will be pretty reasonable here. Yeah, look at that.
Dried mango.
180. Actually, that's quite a lot of mango, yeah.
Or is that expensive?
No, that's a lot cheaper than you'd get at Rimping, like much cheaper.
Does it look good to you?
It's about 180 baht for some mango.
60. Okay.
160.
Should I got one?
Nung Roy Hok Sip.
Numero Hoxo.
Nung Roy Hok Sip baht. And
Jet Set.
Jet Sip also. Yeah, that means they're very cheap. Yeah.
This one looks better though.
Does it? It's a bigger amount. You gonna eat it all?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It doesn't go bad really.
No.
Okay. No.
So that is probably about $5, I would think.
Yeah.
160 แบงค์พัน
Nung Pan.
1,000.
Nung Pan baht. So there's all kinds of goodies in here. Cashews. Oh, for 100 baht, that's very good. And see, everything is clearly marked here, guys. That's another thing.
40.
Radish, chickpeas, cashews. You good?
Yeah.
All right.
Got some mango.
We got all the snacks in here. I see there's cashews for like 100 baht.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper to buy in these places for this kind of dried goods. Man, I missed the Russian market in Cambodia. That was my spot. So you got some dried fruits, dried mixed fruits, dried strawberries, dried plums. I wonder if they have apricots. I like apricots. There's also a wet market outside of the market that has a lot of produce. I mean, guys, also access to the foods the way you have here. The nuts and the fruits for the prices. And so she looks like she's got a lot of fruit. Hey, Sunny Cop. Do you have the plum? Yes, oh, I see. And Tao Rai Cup? Okay. Royal. Okay, I take one for Royal Baht. This have
sweet.
do you have no sugar?
Oh, sugar.
Oh, all with sugar? Oh, okay, thank you. I'm gonna get ones with no sugar if I can.
Okay, let's keep looking.
That's already sweet. It doesn't really need to have too much sugar on top of it. But
They love sugar here.
yeah, that is one of the more challenging things, to avoid sugar while in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, they love it. It's difficult.
Everything that's really sweet or really spicy is very popular here.
Wow, the whole upstairs is closed.
Yeah, look at that.
I wonder if that's like normal.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is it just today, or is this like wiped out from the pandemic?
Yeah, because also it's like 5:30 now. So
Yeah,
maybe
it's the end of the day.
it
People
closes at 6 or
are
something.
starting to close up, maybe.
Not sure about that. Could be open.
But I mean, guys, like, you know, you look at these prices, and you're not going to be getting goods like this in the West for these kind of prices. Like, so like, here, 200 baht for this big bag of cashews. That's not bad at all.
Small one, 100.
Oh, and these are the small ones that are
The
100
small one's
baht.
100.
I mean, so you're talking like for 100 baht is like 220 for a thing of cashews, 230 USD. Let's see. We got anything? 230. And like the mix with some chili in there.
Pistachios.
Yeah. And every conceivable tea, oh my God. Big bags of almonds. Trying to see, it looks like 200 baht. That's
Shelled,
actually,
not shelled. This one has shelled.
that's a shelled one. That's,
Crispy durian.
oh look, he's got some plums that don't have sugar on them. That looks good.
Marine.
The plum,
Plum.
no sugar, right?
No. Oh, sugar written.
Oh,
Like on top?
Yeah.
Oh, a little.
Sucks.
Yeah, why they always add sugar?
They love it.
Dried vegetable.
Cheap.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't know how good it tastes. I never tried it, but I've had like the dried sweet potato.
Look, you have dried strawberries.
It's good. Dried sweet potatoes
No
good.
sugar.
No sugar. And Tao Rai Cup?
อันนี้100 บาท
Right. So about 100 baht.
100 บาทนี่150
Okay. And Tao Rai for the almonds?
200 บาท200 บาท170
On Sunday.
This is a good deal for this much almonds.
You wanna get some?
Yeah, definitely.
I have a
And
bag of
I might try some of these. Let's try some of the dehydrated strawberries. That looks really good. So is that Samroy baht?
ครับผม
Let me keep my small money. Can I give you Haroy baht? Oh. Ah, cup from cup. That's a good price
แต่แมงโก้
actually.
นี่เขาพูดกัน
Oh, she have already. Cup.
I got
เป็นไทย
But that's a good deal. 80.
แมง mango no sugar.
You want to? Oh, no sugar.
No sugar original.
Yeah, you don't need sugar for mango.
I like this one.
Try a little one. Oh, cup from cup.
Ooh, it's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Aloy mak mak.
Aloy mak.
Really? That's no sugar, Mom?
I believe so.
Wow, it's a good one.
Yeah, very good.
I bought a good one.
All right, guys, so look, and here's an example. 70 baht per kilo for avocados. Now, which avocados are the good ones? Which one should we pick?
Yes.
Before,
This delicious than this.
really,
More?
you like those better?
Okay.
And those are 40 baht, so those are even
For each.
cheaper. Oh, per.
40 each.
Okay, and this is per kilo.
Yeah, this for each.
Right.
Oh, that one's each.
Oh, yeah, these are the hash. These, oh, yeah, look, these are the ones that are ready to go.
Yes. Delicious.
Yeah, these are really good. And these are
wanna try?
10 baht for these.
10, 15, 20, 30, and 40 jumbo.
Get one of the 40 baht ones.
Okay, one this
One or
one.
two?
Song.
สองได้ครับ
Come.
Right? Today?
Yeah, today and tomorrow.
Yeah. See, you know.
Yeah, that's why I asked him because he
Yeah.
knows the avocados.
Yes.
Yeah, so those are hash avocados. Those are about $1 each. And then,
Guys, I couldn't tell you how many times we pick avocado, and it's like, okay, we'll get it, and then it'll be ready in a few
No,
days,
I can't.
and it's never ready. You know.
That's
so
why.
this is super helpful.
That's why I wanted to ask him because every time we get them, I always end up messing them up. Oh, kap kung
ครั
kap.
บ
Aloy?
Thank you
Aloy?
ครับ
Kapon. That looks good. He gave us some fruit. Some cup. Now we're
Jay,
gonna.
he
We
has
gotta,
passion fruit too.
oh yeah. Do you want some
70.
passion fruit? Or are we gonna check out the street market? So there's more market, guys.
Let's look more.
We're gonna go buy some stuff at the wet market. Hopefully it's still open. It's about 5 o'clock now. Should still be. Of course, you got your. What do you
That's
got?
so
Your
funny. Hip hop.
hip hop and your American redneck T-shirts, but somehow they're in Thailand.
I like the long sleeve shirts.
มีนี่รถมาเห็นไหม
Yeah, look, a lot of the clothing shops are outside still. So that's cool.
20 baht.
This is going to be the street food up here. I was trying to find the wet market. I forget what side it's on.
Crust?
Yeah. Another thing, guys, that's really lacking in the West is just culture and cohesiveness. And Southeast Asia, one of the reasons that it's extremely safe is that it has really, really strong culture. If you're coming from a society that has like heaps and heaps of violent crime or shootings, that kind of thing does happen, but it's extremely rare. Whereas in the West, there's so many school shootings now that it's become like not even really news anymore. It's just something people accept that happens. You know, unfortunately, there was a shooting here this year, a mass shooting, but it's still a very uncommon event here in Southeast Asia. You know, whereas in the Western societies, people seem much more angry, stressed out, wound up. You know, there's a much more kind of cohesive way of life in Southeast Asia. People have their place in their society, their community, their family. They have their food, they have their culture. Like Michelle touched on earlier, lots of small business owners. And as you can see, you know, commerce is everywhere. Potato and chicken samosas, spring rolls. So yeah, guys, this is the little food market that pops up outside of the market. We're actually looking to buy produce, so we're looking for the produce section. We haven't been here in a lot of years. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Found it.
String beans, 10 baht.
10 baht for string beans. Oh, sorry, cop. Let's give him a little something for good luck. Choke Dina cup. Guys, so we found the produce. What kind of produce do we need? What do we need? We need some like spinach and stuff.
Fruit.
Fruit. What kind of fruit do you want? Like pineapple or something?
Jay, see how much those strawberries are.
How much are the strawberries? Let me see.
Just see if they're expensive.
100 baht.
100? Do they look good?
Yeah, some of them look okay. Some of them don't look super ripe, like,
Take a look.
but you can check it out. Yeah, look, nungroy baht.
Yeah, some of them are 200.
Yeah,
This one's 100.
you gotta
A
take
lot
a
of them
look.
are white though.
Yeah, if they're really white, they're not gonna be super good.
You gotta
Some-
check,
you
guys,
got the red
because they
ones.
always put the good ones on top.
You saw-
Everywhere in the world.
Yeah, no
Not
doubt.
only here, you know? They got dragon fruit if you want.
Oh, I'm okay on
Grape.
dragon fruit. I'm gonna try to find me some pineapple or maybe some lychee.
I'm a sucker for good strawberries.
Look
you
right
know?
here, 40
Do you
baht.
want some?
Yeah, sure.
I like it. Okay, let me see.
Sisip baht.
You got the Doge. C-sip. Which one's a good one? This one.
That one?
Yeah, it'll last a couple days. Sorry,
Sisip baht? Cup.
you want mango or no?
Up to you. Nah, I think let's try to get pineapple.
Okay.
Nungroy baht.
Do you know what that is?
I don't, but it's everywhere in Southeast Asia. Like I've
Is it
definitely
like a
seen
type
it.
of lychee, maybe?
No, I'm not sure.
Looks cool.
But this is a good amount of passion fruit.
Yeah. This is mangosteen. It's pretty good.
Cup.
A little
So-
bit difficult to eat though, the mangosteen, right?
So I just got like this much passion fruit for $1, basically.
So cheap.
Basically, yeah.
Watch out.
And slide in after this family
Yeah.
here. Ready? Go.
Oh, just shove these in the bag, Jen.
Okay, but let's get to somewhere where we can stop. Here we go. Here's the rest of the fruit and the produce. One thing that's kind of shitty about Southeast Asia is they put tons of plastic on everything. So everything comes wrapped in heaps of plastic. Should I get song?
Yeah. Or some even.
Sam?
Yeah, I'll eat it.
Nim song Sam? Baht? Hoxit? Nungroy baht. So yeah, that's taro. I think that's taro or sweet potato.
Looks so big.
Actually, it might be sweet potato.
So
Is it
cool.
taro? Sweet
No.
potato?
So cool.
Well, the price that we just paid for the pineapple there, about $1.50 for
I want to ask about the strawberry.
3 bags of pineapple.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Nungroy hasit. Oh, you want to get a Thai donut?
Yeah, looks good.
I haven't had one of these in a while. These are usually filled with potato. Can I have a song? Cup. So these are usually little sweet things stuffed with mung beans. Yisip? Okay, cup. Maybe chai. So 20 baht, guys. So like 50 cents for these little Thai donuts. Cup. And they're basically made with mung beans. Mung beans and like kind of like a frosted sugar. Very good. I haven't had them in a long time. The sugar ones. They're like a sugar donut, like fried dough.
Yeah, yeah.
And on the inside, there's mung bean. I wouldn't eat it all the time, but it is like a unique Thai snack.
Very sweet.
Got like the powdered sugar. I don't know about you guys, but I like my lifestyle. I like having a pool. I like having access to a sauna. I like paying, $10 to feed 2 people healthy food. I like being able to buy, wholesale amounts of produce for cheap. I like having access to low-cost healthcare, low-cost medicine, quality healthcare, inexpensive Thai massage, inexpensive exercise. And all these countries offer these kind of different things, just to one degree or the next. Like Thailand obviously is king when it comes to massage, but Vietnam has good massage as well, and Cambodia if you know where to look. So these are all things that can add tremendously to your quality of life. and can add a lot to your life. Now, that's not to say that pollution and like, you know, issues with the air being toxic and things like this can also be a detriment to your life. But I mean, you have to trade something always, and no place is this cheap for no reason, right? So of course there's gonna be problems, but for me, I find that Southeast Asia is a great place to start out. If you don't have a ton of capital, you have a good idea for a business, or if you're looking to do some English teaching till you figure something out. Low cost of living, high standard of life, and all these countries have come such a long way since we first started coming out here years ago. It's definitely gotten much, much better. Thailand has grown so much, and even Cambodia we've seen change so much since the first few times we came out there. So, you know, these places are just getting better and better and better. The cost of living is still reasonable, the culture is still strong, and there's still lots of ways for you to stay here and to set up legally. And if you're thinking about coming to Southeast Asia, hit us up, because that's what we do, guys. Another thing worth discussing, guys, is if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, the low cost of labor in Southeast Asia. You can employ people for very, very inexpensive. If you're looking for people who are quality in some sort of a technology or some sort of specialty, the population of these countries are generally pretty highly educated and will work for very, very little money. The Philippines is the king of that, the outsourcing capital of the world. What's up, guys? So as quality of life in the West continues to diminish and the buying power of dollars or euros, you know, seems to become less and less and less, it's very important to remember that that's not the case here. US dollars, euros, they go a very, very long way. So if you have dollars, if you have property, or you have euros, or whatever your currency is, but say you own property, say you have a house that's worth, I don't know, $200,000 to $400,000 or something like that, you might not think you're rich, but in these parts, in different parts of the world, you are very, very rich. So today we took a walk around Chinatown in Chiang Mai. We discussed a little bit about some of the advantages of living in Southeast Asia. We talked a little bit about some of the reasons why you might want to get out of the West. Violent, stressed out societies where the money's just not going as far as it used to. If you're sitting on investments in the West, you actually have a lot more money than you think you do, and you can have a much better life than you could ever imagine. It's very hard to tell people, you know, it's almost like they're stuck in the Matrix. They think that there's only one way to live and only one way to be happy.
Subscribe, share, like the video, and help grow our channel.
And if you guys are thinking about coming to Southeast Asia and doing any kind of business, whether it's opening up a company or looking for a teaching job or getting a hookup on an apartment or buying property or doing any kind of business you want to do in Southeast Asia, please reach out to us on the fan page or any of the contact information in the description below. Smash the like button, subscribe, share the videos. We really appreciate sharing the videos, helps us get a larger reach. And in my opinion, coming here was the best thing I've ever done. I went from being a nightclub bouncer and basically a nobody to having a small business and an upper middle class standard of living, being able to accumulate a savings. Even though I don't want to live in Southeast Asia for the rest of my life, you know.
It is a good stepping stone.
It's great.
Yeah, it's a really good stepping stone to, you know, like in the middle, to try and achieve your dreams and goals in life.
Yeah, you don't need so much money, and you can get on your feet for, you know, far, far less in the West, and you can try things without having to worry so much about losing everything just for taking a chance. And it
or
really,
even just for getting sick. It's ridiculous.
or getting swept up in some kind of Ponzi scheme, fucking real estate investment. Because that's the next bubble in the States, man. The housing's too crazy. It's not gonna last. This is gonna fucking explode, and they're just gonna sweep up more and more wealth. You know, you see countries like the US dumping all kinds of money into foreign wars while the infrastructure collapses. And you know, I'm not saying that these countries are any better or that they do things in a more honest or straightforward way. You know, people are people, nations are nations. It's the same all over the world. The difference here is you have access. You have access that you don't have in the West. You have a much lower start for getting on your feet, a much lower cost for opening up a business, doing any kind of, you know, thing that you would want to do out here. It's just,
and longer runway time.
Yeah.
Way longer than if you were to try to do the same thing US or UK.
And you can always fall back on English teaching if you need to, especially at Thailand, Vietnam, you know, Cambodia. There's employment in these type of fields, and there's the potential that China may open up again soon, which would mean that it would be an opportunity to make quite a lot of money. We'll keep you guys informed on what's going on with that. We have very strong contacts in China, and we're just waiting for how things are going to work before we let you guys know. But it looks like things are about to start moving, and it might be possible to start sending foreigners back over there into decent positions without it being as crazy it has been for the last year. You know, if you're thinking about doing something different, guys, the only thing I can tell you is that in life, you know, if you don't ever take chances, you don't ever find out. And, you know, if you're in the West, you know, you can get hit by a bus just walking down the street, and, you know, I mean, these places are not any more dangerous or any less dangerous.
Yeah, and if you actually want to grow as a person, you have to be uncomfortable. If you're comfortable all the time, you're never going to grow. So that's another thing.
And if you don't take yourself out of your comfort zone, you just never know what could happen. And I think you'd be surprised. I think the standard of living is much higher for the kind of income bracket that someone from the West would have, especially if they're bringing in money from overseas. You know, the culture is much more peaceful. People are much more chilled out. You know, they seem to be content with their life. They seem to be more or less happy. Cannabis is legal now in Thailand, so this is an incredible opportunity for everybody right now, not just in terms of business opportunity, but quality of life.
First country in Southeast Asia.
And possibly the freest country in the world for cannabis right now. So, you know, you shouldn't underestimate places. People come to Thailand a lot of times, you know, as tourists, and they see one side of it. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's lots of issues here too. But I think this is a good first place to start. And then you can kind of explore the rest of Southeast Asia. And there is a lot of opportunity in this part of the world. You just need to kind of get yourself in the mix, get settled, find a little place to start. Maybe Chiang Mai is a good place to start. And then you can explore around the rest of Southeast Asia and try to seek out your fortune. You know, I don't believe that you can be too old for this. Healthcare is very good in this part of the world. Insurance is much cheaper than in the West. Generic drugs are much cheaper. You know, the government's not as involved in your life in most of these countries. Usually you just pay the money and you're good. Thailand, a little bit more. They micromanage us. This is one of the reasons personally why I don't live in Thailand long term. But other countries in Southeast Asia, it's very much just pay for an allotted amount of time, and they don't bother you at all. And then, you know, you can start up a small business, have it in your name in a lot of countries. Cambodia, Vietnam, you can have the company in your name. You know, there's lots and lots of opportunities here, you know, and really the first step is just taking a chance and coming. Lots of people come here as a tourist, but it's a completely different experience to come here, rent, get involved in the society. And like I said, I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want people to think this is paradise. There's lots and lots of problems, but it's also about what you do with wherever you are, right? So like wherever you go, there you are. And if you come to Thailand and you have like, you know, the state, the frame of mind from where you came from, and you're not flexible and you're not willing to change, then it may not work out well for you. If you come here and you're open-minded and you explore the rest of the region, maybe
you're looking for something different.
You're looking for something different, you're open-minded, you might just find that you can find a real great opportunity in this part of the world. And again, we're not exclusively talking about Thailand. This is just a great place to start if you're a beginner. Are you thinking of living, working, or investing in Thailand? Thailand is an amazing country that's more open than it has ever been before. They're a country that's looking into the future and doing some really radical things. It's an amazing time to be in Thailand, and there is a tremendous amount of opportunities for somebody who has an open mind. Who you deal with in Thailand will determine your experience to a great extent. If you do business with the wrong people, you can end up losing money and even in legal trouble. We have the contacts that you need to help you get on your feet in this amazing country and avoid all kinds of drama and problems that could come about by doing business with the wrong people. If you're interested in investing, working, employment, contacts for visas, contacts for housing, contacts for real estate, we got you covered.
Brush your face and wash your teeth, son.
Hey, what's up? I'm D from Canada. Hook up with the New York Nomad if you want a smooth ride into Vietnam or any Southeast Asian countries.
Hey, my name is Aaron. Get in contact with the New York Nomads. If you want to get into Vietnam, hit them up. They'll get you in securely and professionally.
Yo, this is Uncle Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, the New York Nomad got me a job. He's legit. Hit him up. Check him out.
New York Nomad set me up in Vietnam.
Yo, my man got me a job. Come to Vietnam.
Hey, what's up, guys? You thinking about coming to Vietnam? You're not sure where to start. You've heard a lot of things online. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's not. We offer a consulting service where we help you get on your feet in Vietnam. We give you advice on negotiating contracts with employers. We help you with real estate agents, visa agents that are reliable and that you can trust. And we help you get started in this amazing country and get on your feet. We help you get into different opportunities that might be more difficult for you if you were just landing in the country on your own. And we help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls and problems that you could have as a newcomer here. We provide you with reliable job recruiters, visa agents, real estate agents, and advice. If you guys are thinking about coming to Vietnam, hit us up for a consultation. We'll help you get started, help you get on your feet, and hopefully you'll love Vietnam as much as we do.